President Trump is heading to a meeting with global business leaders in Switzerland this week, with his push to take over Greenland expected to be one of the hotter topics.
And political reporter Marica Kramer says that this move is wildly unpopular among politicians here and also around the world, Marcia.
Well, you're right, KJ. A CBS News New York poll, CBS News poll shows that 97% of Democrats and 70% of Republicans are against President Trump's push to take over Greenland. But even Republicans who say an American military presence in Greenland is in our best interest are raising questions about how to go about it.
I certainly am supportive of negotiating a deal, but not taking Greenland through force.
Rockland Republican Mike Lawler agrees with President Trump that Greenland is an important asset in protecting the United States from Russia and China, but he's not buying the president's plan hook, line, and sinker.
What about the idea of the president who's now said he wants to impose tariffs on the countries in the NATO alliance if they don't agree?
I'm not in favor of that.
Westchester Democrat George Latimer told me he's against the whole idea.
I think he wants to just expand the empire. I think the same reason why Vladimir Putin goes into Ukraine.
The divide among local politicians coming as European leaders are pushing back against the president's threat to impose tariffs of up to 25% on key allies, including Denmark, France, and the United Kingdom, until the deal is reached.
Alliances endure because they're built on respect and partnership, not pressure. That is why I said the use of tariffs against allies is completely wrong.
Meanwhile, the president is linking his push for Greenland to not winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Norway's Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Store confirmed he received a message from President Trump saying, in part, due to the decision to award someone other than himself the Nobel Peace Prize, he no longer feels an obligation to think purely of peace and can now think about what is good and proper for the United States. The president insists he needs the strategic Arctic island to thwart threats posed by Russia and China.
If there were an attack on Greenland from Russia, from some other area, we would get dragged in. So better now, peace through strength, make it part of the United States.
There are several reasons the move to take Greenland is so unpopular across party lines.
What do people think would happen? Well, nearly 7 in 10 think that would cause the U.S. to leave NATO, and just as many think that that would create instability in the world.
Now, although the president isn't expected at the Switzerland conference until Wednesday, national security advisors from a number of countries are expected to meet on the sidelines as early as today. Guys?
Important conversations they'll be having before he gets there.
That's absolutely true.
Thanks, Marcia.